everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some custom trees. I think that everyone kind of has their own method, but these are mine and I'm going to show you two different methods. Let's just hop into it. The first method of creating a tree is by using Voxel Sniper. I'll take an arrow and gunpowder, I'll hold the arrow in my hand and I'll do the command /B space B. This sets the brush as a ball, and it's similar to WorldEdit sphere brush, but I think that the blending is a lot better in Voxel Sniper. And to set the size, I'll still be holding the arrow and I'll do the command /B space 5, which sets the brush size to 5. To set the material, I'll do /V space and then my material, which is going to be spruce wood. And now that we have our brush, we start creating the tree structure. I'll usually have a larger base for the root flare and everything, and then I'll make a main lead. Then I'll lower the brush size when I keep on going out to the branches. That just makes it have a nice taper. So I'll usually have my brush size pretty much down to 1 at the end. Don't think that it has to be perfect right now. We're gonna go through and smooth later. If you have trouble visualizing trees, a lot of people don't understand how exactly branch structures work. I got into Minecraft recently because I wanted to make trees because my job before this was as an arborist. So I would be climbing trees and I would be pruning them, and I got to learn the structure of a lot of different trees that way. But if you want to make a realistic looking tree, then just go online, find a reference image of a tree you like, and then almost copy that structure. But yeah, now that we have the main structure done, we are going to smooth it. So if you can kind of see, it's like not exactly all melded together. So we're going to use another Voxel Sniper brush, which is Blend Ball. I can set my Voxel Sniper brush, my arrow, to Blend Ball with the command /B space BB. I'll set the size to 2 with the command /B space 2, and then I'll go through the trunk and the branches and I'll just smooth them down. This can be kind of time intensive. This gets into a lot more organics, but don't rush it. Just do what you can and take your time with it, and it really comes down to how you want your tree to look. If you have a really thick canopy, then a lot of people aren't going to see a lot of that stuff, but I tried to smooth it down just so you guys can see a good example. Once we have our main structure and it's all smooth to our liking, it's time to add the leaves. This first method is going to be done with WorldEdit brushes. We do that by taking our shovel in our hand, and then we're going to input this command. And I'll put it on the screen right here. And don't be scared. I know it looks intimidating, but it's not as bad as it seems. And if you have trouble comprehending it, then let's just walk through it really quick. The first part, /BR sphere, creates a sphere brush, and we've gone through that in another tutorial. And then we do a space, and then we have this big jungle of numbers and colons and percent signs. But what this is just the different blocks of our brush. Let's look at this first part right here, highlighted in blue, 7%, 18:12. 7% is going to be the concentration. So this block right here that's denoted by the 18:12 is going to have a 7% makeup within this brush. And then 18 is the block ID for oak leaves. You can also replace 18 with oak leaves in the command line if you want. And the colon is going to set a property for the oak leaves. So we don't want our leaves to disappear, right? So 12 denotes the persistent property. And it just makes it so they don't despawn or disappear and stuff. But you could also write it this way. So 18:12 is the same as oak_leaves bracket persistent, which is the property, equals true in a closing bracket. But that's just so you guys can understand a bit more. I'll continue with this pattern to set the rest of the materials, which you can see broken down here on the screen. One thing I will note, it's good to have at least 75% air in this brush, just to maintain the illusion, because like when you look at a tree, it doesn't look like a big block of leaves. It usually has some air pockets, and different branches will have different concentrations of leaves. So don't make it too thick, and we'll go through and thin it out later. This is just for the main shape. And then we're gonna set our size to 8 and mask to 0, and we are ready to go. Quick tip, keep the brush commands you come up with in a notepad document on your computer, and then you can just copy paste them into your command line next time. Don't have to write all of this out. I'll put some of my favorite brushes that I personally use in the description, and then you can just copy and paste them if you want. And now, to place the leaves, now that we have our brush, I'll go around and create little balls of leaves, and I'll usually start at each of the main branches tips. And then I'll kind of connect them to make an overarching canopy. Once I have a main mass of leaves, I'll thin out the canopy. And the best way I've found to start is in the inside, and then you clear it out and you almost make it a hollow shell. So just take an airbrush that's going to be matched to your leaf's brushes materials, and I will usually use a size of 5 or 6, and then I'll just start thinning it out. I'll usually aim for the spots that are darker, because that just means that less light's getting through. It's a thicker part. Then once I'm satisfied, I'll go to the outside of the canopy and then I'll shape it and thin it out. And don't worry if you punch a few holes in it or anything, it's not going to be completely perfect. You can always undo it if you want. So this is going to be really subjective, and it's going to vary a lot based on how you want your tree to look. A good rule of thumb is to look at where your sphere brush was, and you can kind of see how it's a little bubbly, you know? So there's like individual blobs. I'll usually knock those down and make them blend together so it looks like it can still be lumpy and it can still have character, but it doesn't have to look like perfect spheres that are all just pasted in. And that's pretty much it. Let's go to the second method. This is how I make a bit more artsy trees and stuff. It's my preferred method actually, but it utilizes Arceon, which is the same plugin that has Loft, and that's a command that I use to make roofs and sails and a bunch of other stuff, but it's a premium plugin, so not as many people have access to it. I think that either way works, but this is less time intensive for me, and I can make smaller, more intricate trees a lot faster. To start off, we're going to make the trunk of the tree. First step is you're going to have your wand, and then you're going to switch your selection mode to convex mode. And you can do that by entering in the command //cell space convex. And if you don't know what this is, it basically allows you to select up to 20 points instead of the usual 2. Now go around and you select your points. So I'll left click with the axe on the ground, and then I'll fly upward, and it doesn't have to be exactly above it. And then I'll do /up1, and then I'll kind of block out the relative shape of how I want my tree trunk to be. Once you've left clicked on the ground to set your pause 1, right click all of the glasses in sequence. So from bottom to top, right click, right click, right click. Then you're going to have a convex selection with 4 or 5 points, however many you want. Now, once I have that selected, I'm going to use the spike command. And the format for that is //spike space your material. In this case, it's going to be spruce wood space 5 space 1. And let's break this down a little bit. So //spike denotes the command, and in spruce wood is the material. And then 5 is going to be the thickness of that spike at position 1, which is on the ground. And then 1 is going to be the thickness at our last points in the sequence, which is up here. And then I'll just execute this command. And now you've got a nice smooth trunk that's going to taper at the end. Spike just makes it so it tapers as it goes, and it saves a lot of time that you would spend smoothing with Voxel Sniper. And then I'll continue this method for the rest of the branches, and I'll play around with different sizes and everything. And then I'll just have a main structure, kind of how I had it last time with the Voxel Sniper tree. And now we're going to move on to the leaves. This is going to be slightly different than the first method. So instead of having a custom brush where we enter in all those commands and stuff, we're going to be installing placeholder blocks first. So I have my brush, and I'll do //br sphere 5% diamond block, which is going to be our placeholder block, comma, 95% 0 space in the size, which I'll put as 8. And then I'll mask 0. And same strategy as last time. I'm going to go around and I'm going to create little balls of leaves at the branch tips, and then I'll connect those balls of leaves to get a general shape. And once I have the main mask of leaves, I'm going to do the same thing as I did earlier. I'm going to take an airbrush. I'm going to mask it to diamond block. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to thin it out a little bit and make a more hollow shell. This is a smaller tree, so you don't have to go as hard with it, but we're going to be using more solid blocks, so we're going to want to thin it out a bit more. And I'm going to have this size as 3. Then I'll go to the outside and I'll shape it just like we did last time, same exact strategy. And once we're happy with that, we can go on to painting. So I have these blocks and I'm going to make it look like a cherry blossom. And I've organized them based on their shade going from dark to light. Create your first brush with the first 2 materials, / BR sphere 80%. And my first material is going to be pink concrete. And then I'll do a comma. And then 20%, and my second color is pink wool. And I'll put the size as 1, and I'll mask it to diamond blocks. I'll take this brush and I'll just go around and I'll paint where I see fit. When you're satisfied with that, move on to the next color sequence. So you're going to have 70% pink wool, comma, 30%. Next one is pink glazed terracotta. If this isn't making much sense to you with the gradients, then go check out my brush gradient tutorial video because that can give you at least an introductory knowledge to it. I'll go around and I will paint the edges of the areas where I've already painted. And this is going to make it look like more of a gradient than just a bunch of random blocks placed everywhere. So the darkest point is like our color source, and then it just kind of bleeds out and fades to white. We're going to keep on continuing this pattern and just playing around with different ratios as we get down the line. And once we've done that, we're pretty much done. That looks like a cherry blossom to me. That is it for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something, and let me know if you want to know more or if you have any questions or any suggestions on what tutorial you want me to do next. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It's really awesome seeing the support right now, and I just hope that we can keep growing and I can keep on bringing you guys great content. All right, that's it. Have a good day.